This is a lot better version of Chick-fil-A's cauliflower sandwich, and by a lot better, I'm saying drastically better. Now, if you haven't heard, Chick-fil-A is currently testing in a Charlotte market a cauliflower sandwich that is, they say plant-based, but they're dipping the cauliflower in egg and milk and putting it on a buttered bun. Now, from what I've read, they've been developing the sandwich for like 5 years, and I'll be honest, but Chick-fil-A, fire your chefs, because it shouldn't take 5 years to develop this sandwich. I have no idea what your recipe is, and what I made in 30 minutes is light years better, and it's actually a sandwich that's entirely plant-based. This sandwich doesn't take that long to put together. It seems like a lot of work, but really it's quite easy. We're going to start off with a head of cauliflower. We're going to pull off the leafy bits and then give it a nice wash. Then all we're going to do is just cut out some cauliflower steaks. Now, we're going to kind of keep these a little thinner than normal. Honestly, I'll say I wish I would have cut them thicker in the end, but I did them about index finger thickness is what I did. Now, out of each cauliflower, you're going to get maybe 3 or 4 steaks at most, because then the rest of it's just going to be cauliflower bits that are going to fall off. I saved the rest of this. Monica and I had it for dinner, and it was just fantastic. Now, to nail the Chick-fil-A flavor, I actually took a lot of notes from Jason Farmer. He has a whole video about Chick-fil-A and breaking down all of the ingredients and their processes. Now, for chicken brine, they're brining their chicken for like, I think it's over 6 hours. Now, for this, it's going to take like 10 minutes. But we're going to make a similar brine, which is just 2 cups of hot water, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, 1/4 cup sugar, half teaspoon MSG, 1 teaspoon paprika, a crack of black pepper, and then a half teaspoon of mustard powder. Now, where I'm going to variate to just add in some of that chickeny flavor, I'm going to add a tablespoon of nutritional yeast along with a tablespoon of vinegar. That's going to give it some of that kick that it needs. Now, I'm going to add the cauliflower, kick the heat on high, bring it up to a boil, cover it, and then turn the heat off and let it rest for about 10 minutes. That's all it needs. Now, like I said, this goes together quick. While we're waiting for the brine, let's make our seasoned coater, which I guess is what Chick-fil-A calls it, which that's just going to be a cup of all-purpose flour, tablespoon granulated sugar, a pinch of Morton kosher salt, half teaspoon MSG. Now, they use milk powder. I'm assuming for browning, I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of rice flour. That works really well. Along with a half teaspoon baking powder, pinch of white pepper, half teaspoon mustard powder, pinch of cayenne, and then just give it a whisk, which this looks pretty good. I mean, it's just pretty much seasoned flour. Now, at this point, it's been 10 minutes. The cauliflower is ready to roll. So we're just going to gently pull it out because while it's hot, the cauliflower is going to be soft. I'm going to toss it onto a wire rack and let it cool down and also kind of dry up. It needs to be dry before we move into the frying step. It shouldn't take that long, but it's plenty of time for me to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. Now, I've used BetterHelp for about a year and a half. I feel really strongly about this. My therapist has helped guide me through some really dark times, to be honest. One thing I never realized was how hard I am on myself. It's taken a lot for me to not constantly blame myself for everything. No matter how many times people would say like, man, you're being really hard on yourself. I just didn't get it. My therapist has given me tips and tricks that work for me personally that has gotten me through that. Things have become a lot easier. I've been saying for a while that I was going to be focusing on my health, and my mental health really needed some attention. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist anytime and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. And if your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional cost. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, with more scheduling flexibility and at a more affordable price. So gang, get 10% off your first month over at BetterHelp.com/Saucestache. I've linked them in the description below. So BetterHelp, like I said, I feel very strongly about this. Thank you for sponsoring today's video and for the incredible service you provide. Now that was plenty of time for the cauliflower to cool down, so let's get our frying situation ready. Now I'm just going to be using a large Dutch oven, anything that you have that's like high wall that you could fry in, or if you have a fryer that's going to work. And I'm going to fill it up with some vegetable oil. I believe Chick-fil-A might use peanut oil, but I'm not 100% sure. Now I have this little like utensil clip that actually works really good for my probe thermometer. I love this like probe thermometer because it's blue Bluetooth and it can alert you. But I'm just gonna set that up for 325, kick the heat on, and get that heated up. So now we need our wet batter for our seasoned coater. First, a cup of oat milk, along with some rice flour. Originally, I was planning on using like a starch to kind of replicate the egg, but honestly, the rice flour worked fantastic, so I wouldn't change it. And then to get that extra glutamate in, I'm gonna be adding about a tablespoon of nutritional yeast. Now, let's whisk that up, get our flour ready, grab the cauliflower, and let's get this moving. Now, we're gonna start by dunking the cauliflower into the milk mixture and then press into the flour. Now, according to Jason's video, when they press, they're actually putting like their full body weight into it. I guess the instructions from Chick-fil-A's manual is to like actually lift up onto your toes. Now, the one thing that I did forget was to seed this flour, and that's just by sprinkling some of the milk mixture in and kind of mixing it up to create little clumps of dough. And that's what gives Chick-fil-A like the crispy bits on the outside of the flour. So I'm doing that for this first one, but the next one, it will probably come out a little bit better. Now, once these are nice and coated, I don't want it to be super thick, but I want it to be covered decently. I'm just gonna pick it up, let the excess flour kind of drip off, and then I'm just gonna drop it right into the hot oil, 325 degrees. Now, these are gonna fry for about 4 minutes. It takes me about 20-30 seconds to bread each one, so there's gonna be 20-30 second intervals off the first one. So I just set a 4-minute timer. Now, while these are frying, I'm gonna move kind of quick. I'm gonna butter up the buns. I'm just using some Mayoko's vegan butter, which I need to find a new brand. So let me know your recommendations. Now, usually when I use like a hard butter like this, I like to soften it up with a fork, add just a touch of salt, and then just kind of makes it creamier and easier to spread. So now I'm just gonna toss the buns in an overly heated pan because I'm gonna kind of burn these a little bit like I mostly usually do. Let these toast, and while they're toasting, let's make the sauce. Now, I read a bunch of recipes for plant-based Chick-fil-A sauce, and they all seem pretty similar, but the one thing that Chick-fil-A has came out and said is Chick-fil-A sauce is just honey mustard, which we're gonna use agave and mustard, barbecue sauce, I'm gonna use barbecue sauce, and ranch. And I have a vegan ranch right here, so I'm just gonna dunk a little bit of that in. I'm not sure the amounts, so I'm gonna kind of guess and just try to get it as close as I can, but this came out pretty good. I can't find my tiny whisk anymore. I have no idea what happened to it. I need to find that thing because this is comical. Now, it's just over 4 minutes. These are looking amazing. They're nice and golden brown. They're the exact color that I want. Now, I'm gonna give them just a little pinch of salt, let them cool down for a moment, and let's put them together. All we need is our buttered toasted buns, a few pickles, put on our cauliflower, our breaded cauliflower, which again, oh my gosh, look at this thing, and then top our bun. Now, let's see what Monica has to say. Does this taste like Chick-fil-A?
This is so good.
Yeah, that's wildly good.
Every time I have cauliflower, I forget how good it is.
Yeah, I know. So, wow. I mean, that tastes like the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. I mean, I know it's cauliflower. Well, I want your opinion.
Yeah, it's cauliflower, but it really tastes like I'm biting into chicken and something really crispy. I mean, it has a really nice flavor. It's really subtle. And so you just taste the flavor of the sandwich.
Does it taste like what you remember Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich tasting like?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, immediately I got that hit.
I really like it.
Yeah. Now, I'll say that I think it's a little like soft, like the cauliflower is a little, it's softer than chicken for sure. There's an inside shot.
The snap, when you bite into it, it's a little softer than maybe you would expect chicken. You know it's not chicken.
No.
But it's pretty close.
But the flavor is fantastic. I mean, I'm super stoked. Okay. I want to try it with some of the Chick-fil-A sauce. You want a little bit?
Sure.
You know you don't like a lot, but whoop. Is that good?
Can you like swirl it around on there? Yeah.
Maybe they use a little bit more ranch than like what I used.
Perfect. It's really delicious.
Yeah.
I love this.
This took me a half an hour. I mean,
You should have it all the time.
yeah.
So easy.
I think next time I did it, I might cut the cauliflower a little thicker. Yours is really good. Turn it the other way, baby.
Can you see it?
Well, I love this. I'm gonna eat the heck out of it. This is what they should have done. I just don't get what their motives are or intention or who they thought that sandwich was for.
Yeah, who's getting that?
So, I mean, are you excited for the cauliflower sandwich from Chick-fil-A? I mean, to me, it's pointless. I'm not, you know.
Yeah. Why not just make it vegan?
I know. There was nothing in this. Like, these are just regular hamburger buns from the grocery store. I looked them up, made sure they were plant-based. They are. It's just replaced that egg and milk wash. I mean, and the milk powder that they used. I mean, that could be, replace it with anything.
Anything.
You know, I used rice flour, and it was delicious. That's it. This is, I wish I would have made more. I'm mad at myself, Mel.
Really good. No, this is really good, baby.
No.